New intro. So much love and appreciation to those of you who have been with me for the 2 year period plus that I've been doing this. Thank you for showing your love and support to the channel. And to anybody else who is brand new to the platform and you would like to support the channel, also you can do it by way of Patreon, Anchor, the clothing store, and also the shoe shop that is listed in the comment description below. And again, thank you to any and all of you guys who have been here to support this channel during the 2+ year period. I wouldn't be able to do what I do every single day without you. Pamela Moses became permanently ineligible to vote after pleading guilty in 2015 to 2 felonies. Memphis activist Pamela Moses has been sentenced to 6 years and 1 day in prison for illegally registering to vote in 2019. Moses, who was age 54, was convicted in November of 2021 for a crime of registering to vote with a felony conviction on her record. She became permanently ineligible to vote in Tennessee after pleading guilty in 2015 to 2 felonies as well as 3 misdemeanors and was placed on probation for 7 years. At that time, she was reportedly charged with tampering with evidence and forgery, perjury, stalking, theft under $500, and escape. Moses, who founded Black Lives Matter Memphis, has maintained that she believed her voting rights had been restored in 2019. The sentencing judge accused her of deceiving officials. Quote, I didn't falsify anything. All I did was try to get my rights to vote back the way the people at the election commission told me and the way the clerk did. This is what the judge had to state in rebuttal. You tricked the probation department into giving you documents saying that you were off probation. After you were convicted of a felony in 2015, you voted 6 times as a convicted felon. Moses explained in an interview with The Guardian last year that her saga began after her 2015 guilty plea, and she wasn't informed that she had become ineligible to vote. Quote, they never mentioned anything about voting. They never mentioned anything about not voting, being able to vote. None of that. Also failed to notify election officials to remove Moses from the voter rolls. Moses would find this out in 2018 when she attempted to run as a candidate for mayor of Memphis, but was informed by election officials that she couldn't appear on the ballot due to her criminal record. That's when Moses consulted a judge who informed her that she was still on probation. Moses decided that the judge miscalculated her sentence, and she seemingly convinced her probation officer as much because the individual incorrectly signed official documents stating that Moses's probation had ended. And officials received an email a day later from the correction department informing them of the probation officer's error and that Moses was still ineligible to vote due to her active felony sentencing. She never actually voted, but simply registered, something she thought she could do. Quote, I was convicted of altering a document that I didn't even sign. Moses was charged for falsely asserting that her probation had expired when she filed a certificate of restoration and application for voter registration with the Shelby County Elections Commission. Quote, Pamela Moses, a black woman, has been sentenced to 6 years in prison because of a voting error. Meanwhile, white individuals who are known to have committed blatant voter fraud have only received probation. That was stated by the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund. Moses is reportedly being held in custody and is expected to appeal her sentence. I'm pretty sure that there's going to be, people on either side. This is the one thing I can sit up there and tell you. Never at a point in time have I ever talked to a person that I know of, right, who might have served a stint in prison or jail, ever talk about the fact that they can go out there and vote or whatnot or whatever. Why? Because that's something that never actually gets discussed when it is that they are, in a sense, freed, when they are back out here into normal life. Whenever these proceedings and different things happen before they leave, the judges and the lawyers never sit up there and tell these black men and women like, all right, well, since you're out now, you're done, you served your time. you're able to go back into normal life. You're able to go back and get a job. You're also free to start voting again, since you have already properly served your time. That's not a discussion that they talk about, and they don't talk about that because they don't want those black people being able to vote. They don't feel that they should be able to vote. They don't want those votes to be able to sway anything at all. Like I said before, the less for them, right? The less black people that are, voting on things that go on, statewide and locally, right? For them, the better, because that means that they get to do whatever it is that they want to do with the money and the government funding and, the tax dollars and, all of that, good stuff. But just in case if people have a potential issue with what it is that took place and they're clearly trying to say that, oh, she's in the wrong, she knew what it is that she's doing, let's just take a look at this video.
Joining us now is Janae Nelson. She is Associate Director Counsel of the NAACP Legal Defense and Educational Fund. She will be taking over as president of LDF next month. Ms. Nelson, thank you for joining us tonight. I really appreciate you making time to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me.
I am not a lawyer. I am a person who reads a lot of news. I am surprised that this is not a bigger story nationwide, because this strikes me as bald-faced in its unfairness and outrageousness. And I'll just say that as my opinion. As an attorney, as somebody who knows things like this very, very well, given your work at LDF, is there something here that I am missing? Is there some subtlety or some nuance or piece of this that makes this less outrageous than it seems?
No, it is absolutely as outrageous as you describe it. It points to everything that is wrong in our democracy. It's a confluence of racial discrimination and voter suppression. And we have to ask the question, why do we have laws that prohibit people with felony convictions from voting in the first place? This case is emblematic of all the reasons that we need to do away with those arcane and draconian laws that ultimately disenfranchise 5.2 million Americans. And Black Americans in particular are disenfranchised at a rate of 4 times every other race combined. And what you just pointed out in terms of the individuals who are known to have committed voter fraud, blatant voter fraud, not because of misinformation, not because of an clerical or administrative error on the part of the state, as we've seen in so many cases like Mrs. Moses's, but people who intentionally committed voter fraud, they are sentenced to probation. And individuals like Mrs. Moses, like Crystal Mason out of Texas, whose case was similarly troublesome in this way, like Hervis Rogers, another person out of Texas who was sentenced to prison because of a mistaken belief about his right to vote. It shows that there are 2 systems. There are 2 criminal justice systems, 2 sentencing systems when it comes to these issues. And you could not ask for a more stark contrast about justice in our country.
Really able to hear. You have 2 different justice systems, which of course we in the Black community, we already know. We already knew of this. When it comes to the rest of the communities out there, when it comes to the reflective majority, people are either ignorant, don't care, or just don't care. And as she stated before, you have 3 to 4 Black people who have been prosecuted harshly, received jail or lengthy prison sentences due to the fact of either registering or voting, and them not having a full understanding of if they have their voters' rights or if they do not, or the precise length of time that it would take them in order to get those voter rights back after they have served their sentencing and have been released and or off of a type of probation. And due to that lack of knowledge, due to the ignorance, right, that is placed upon those who were put inside of a system, the system can then state that, oh, you knew full well that, you weren't able to do this and that. You willfully decided to deceive the justice system and do whatever it is that you wanted to do illegally, when realistically they have no 100% concrete proof that any of these individuals had the knowledge to know that they were committing any type of a crime. Because a lot of people feel, who just get out of prison or jail, that, okay, well, I'm out, serve my time, so then everything is going to go back to normal. I should be able to do the things that everybody else is able to do because properly served my time. I had a lengthy sentence, and now, it is what it is. We're square now, right? Wrong. And then on top of that, the most fraudulent individuals, the most cheating individuals, the most underhanded individuals, the most snake-like individuals are the main ones that make the laws, the rules, and the regulations, and that get to dictate, okay, you're a cheater, and then the other people, you're not cheaters. But let's not forget, and if people want to try to debate this, like I said, you're going to have to debate history. Realistically, the main way that they were able to get the power that they had to lie, cheat, and steal in order to make America what it is at this current point in time. Because if equality, right, was really a thought and a thing back when the pilgrims, the pagans, right, the European descendants first got here, they wouldn't have the power that they have at this moment in time. They wouldn't be the ones where, their image is every single place and every single shadow and corner on this continent. It just wouldn't be. So, like I said, somebody had to do something quick, fast, and in a hurry in order to get this type of power. This is when I told you guys before, the original terminology for American was those of who are indigenous, who were born here, who are already on this continent before the Europeans got here, right? And then later on, that same definition got transferred to the Europeans, right? And their descendants, who are AKA the Americans, right? They're the ones that now have that, in a sense, false branding or that card, right? Almost like the same thing with a lot of the reflective majority claiming that they're Native American because their great 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 grandpappies or whoever it is signed for a couple of dollars on the rolls just so that they can sit up there and get that status, so that they can get that free money and everything else that basically comes with being an indigenous person of a land. Like I said before, lie, cheating, and stealing. But once they got into power, they were like, you know what, we can't have the same system in place, because if we were able to do it, that means that everybody else will be able to do it, and we can't have that, because then, yet again, we're going to lose what it is that we worked so hard for, aka cheated for, right? So they switched up the system, made it a little bit harder for the actual people, right? For black people, the indigenous, people, the copper color individuals, right? The melanated ones, to be able to do the exact same things, but they enabled themselves, or people that the higher ups, the people that they want to consider in the upper echelon, to continue this at a much higher and faster rate. So you have a giant boys club of the reflective majority upstairs, and everybody else is at the bottom of the Titanic waiting for the glacier to hit the boat, right? So that's where we are at this current moment in time. They're going to make an example out of black people while allowing the rest of their people to skate away and to do whatever it is that they want to do. This is America at its finest. Like I said, you can't debate me, because within debating me, you're debating history. And if you're calling me a lie, then you'll be calling history a lie. And guess who wrote that history? The greatest liars of all time. So deal with that. But anyways, let me know what you guys think about this video and everything that I listed in the comment description below. And as always, peace, love, and stay tuned for the next video.